you have a purpose. And it's not just to go to work, pay bills, and die. Live out your purpose today. Keep using your gifts, talents, and abilities for the glory of God, and tune in this Saturday, 8:30 a.m. for the Ministry in the Marketplace show, hosted by Elder Michael Davis. For more information or to reach them down.
Big Al would like to extend a sincere, heartfelt message to Marylanders during this scary season. Everyone, stay safe and stay home, and eventually we will all get through this. Now, if you find yourself in an auto accident during these times, don't worry, my guy Big Al's got you covered. Big Al is someone you can trust in these times of uncertainty. So remember, when in an accident, call your friend Big Al at 1-800-HURT-123. Big Al is the law firm of Richard Klein.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? Shifting to a system based on primary care can help fix the problem. Patients with a primary care doctor live longer, healthier lives and are less likely to suffer from cancer, heart disease, or stroke. Primary care that is comprehensive and coordinated also saves money. Patients who have a primary care doctor spend 30% less on health care than patients who don't. States with a high number of primary care doctors have lower health care costs and higher quality care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
WLIF HD2 Baltimore.
The all-new Praise 106.1, giving our city just what we need right now. Baltimore's inspiration station. Praise 106.1.
From the Big Al Studio, Baltimore's #1 accident attorney.
African Voices Radio presents David Adodo Show on 106.1 FM.
My country people, yes, them go talk. Them just the parambulate. So story heavy. Nepa no bring light, generator whatever, yeah. Plenty greedy man for them, yeah. Take a project, forget it, forget about the big things, say make we talk about the small things, forget about the big things, say make we talk about the small things, Agbada, jangbaja, ulagbada, agbada, jangbaja, ulagbada. You are where they bless me, amen. Say you go bless you too, amen. Bless your papa, oh, amen. Bless your mama, oh. You are where they bless me, amen. Say you go bless you too, amen. Bless your papa, oh, bless your mama, oh, yeah. See me, I see you, yeah. Batura for me, yeah. Loke, oh, Baba, Deleke. International something, it's a big situation. They back our money, oh. Take it to other nation. Invest for your country, oh. Make it a better place. Spend the money for your country, oh. Make it a better place, yeah. Forget about the big things, so make we talk about the small things,
You
You're listening to African Voices Radio.
Forget about the big things, so say we could talk about the small things, so yeah. Rara, oh, yeah. Agbada, Jangbada, Ulagbada, Rara, oh, Rara, oh, yeah. Agbada, Jangbada, Ulagbada, I go Obodo Ibo, I go the hurry to come back, and when I come back, I go the hurry to go back. I no get to charge
you. On air.
Yes.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, you welcome back to African Voices Radio. Once again, today is Saturday, back on the air. We are lucky today to have our wonderful Dr. Brother on the show. Is on coronavirus. Coronavirus is not a battle of anybody. People are thinking that the white man disease. This is not a white man disease. This is everybody's disease. Black people wake up. We didn't wake up. Ladies and gentlemen, you welcome back to African Voice. We didn't wake up early enough to this deadly disease. And this disease right now is killing a lot of African Americans. A lot of people are dying. So we have to continue talking about this issue and sensitize the people, sensitize everybody about this deadly disease. And this is not a joke. This is not a joke. Everybody needs to follow the instructions that is being put out there by medical doctors and healthcare workers. So today, again, we have two brothers that are physicians, doctors, that are in the house. We are going to continue to share more light on this deadly disease, how we can protect ourselves and everybody out there. So you're welcome to the show, Dr. Francis and Dr. Eddie. And also my co-host, Charles, Tunde, and the Queen herself. You all are welcome.
Thank you, Mr. David. Thank you, Dave. Glad to be here.
Yeah, Dr. Francis, how are you doing today, sir? Dr. Francis.
He's doing okay. I know he's doing okay. Probably he's having some technical challenges. We're good. Okay. We're still hanging in there. The pandemic continues. This time around, we're going to talk about little things we need to do. Most current developments we have so far and what has been happening around us. Good and bad news. Bad news, the death rate keeps going up. Good news, people are surviving. We're beginning to understand basic things about the disease, and also from the recent updates from New York that we're getting, the social isolation is beginning to pay off. Even though it hasn't significantly paid off, we'll still continue doing what we're doing. In terms of treatments, antibody tests are being developed. Antibody tests, by antibody tests we mean the cells in our body that fight the virus. We're beginning to look at these antibody tests to see if they're going to confer a longer immunity. So, good and bad news here and there. Back in Africa, the incidence is rising, death rate is rising, everybody's being conscious. I think more people are talking about it. We'll just keep reinforcing what we've been saying before. So, that's it for today.
Good. Tunde.
Yeah.
Yes. What are you hearing from Lagos? Lagos is the epicenter of this disease in Nigeria. So what are you? And I know that the governor is doing a great job. So what can you tell us about what is happening in Lagos?
It is the same thing. Lagos, they're doing the best that they can. The governor is putting in a lot of effort to encourage people to stay home. And again, they have built that isolation center at the National Stadium in Surulere, where you have a lot of people that are COVID infested that are there, that are being taken care of. So I think the governor is doing the best that they can. There's so much the government can do, but we as citizens as well to do the best that we can, because government cannot work without citizens, and citizens cannot function without government. So we need each other to make this thing work.
That's good. Charles.
Yes, Dave.
You think that the Nigerians are listening to what the health professionals are saying? Are they listening at all from the news that you are hearing? Are they wearing a mask and maintaining a social distances?
Just like Tunde said, I think in some areas, I think they are listening. Not everywhere. I can give you an example. There's a big news right now developing out of Anambra State in the last couple of hours. I said, you know that the border was closed.
Okay.
Actually, this is as far as I can tell from what I heard and some of the phone calls that I made. It happens that between the bridge, people are bribing themselves to come over. And there's a gentleman right now that probably traveled overseas, stayed in Lagos, and been back to Anambra, probably sneaked in the last 2 weeks. And this guy is from Adazienu. I forgot his name. His name is out there right now. They are looking for him. The guy went to the hospital 5 days after, and they tried to treat him, and then it seems to be getting worse. So they had to call the NCDC, Nigerian NCDC, and they came into Adazienu Hospital and tested the gentleman. And guess what? Tested positive. And this man, since he came back, he's been attending the board meetings in the village. The man, I think he's kind of probably a well-to-do guy. He has dogs. He has people that guide him. People come get him money. He gives out money. And the funny thing is that they transported this man from Adazienu Hospital to the Onitsha Center where they have this pandemic center. The man escaped. The man ran away.
Wow.
The man ran away, and there's a hunt for him. They just caught him about a couple of hours ago from another hotel where he was hiding. So there's a serious. Now, the governor has to come out and make an announcement. Now, he has extended the stay home for serious 2 weeks. Army soldiers, many police, everybody's going out on the streets. The announcement has just been done hours ago. And, if you go online, you can read that statement. So it's still to me that some people are not taking this serious. People are not acting as they're supposed to act. If something like this can be happening up to now, and it's got the whole Anambra, this is their first cases recorded now. Now they're talking about quarantining the whole village, the places that the man has been. It has drivers, fleet of drivers. It has people that he gets contact with. So can you imagine? Right now, Anambra is shaking with this news.
Dr. Eddie, Dr. Francis, you're welcome back to the show. I know you are from Delta State. What are you hearing from Delta State? Because the last time I heard, Delta State is closed for businesses and people that are coming in. What are you hearing in Delta State, Nigeria?
Yes, hello everybody. Welcome again to this very wonderful show. So Delta State, Nigeria, just like other states are actually still adopting the same measures that has been, issued out there by the authorities. I try to call my folks and speak to them and ask them what is the general outlook on things, and they're corroborating what you just said. The state is shut down. I'm not sure. I'm not very current on the statistics in terms of the number of people that have tested positive to COVID-19 in Delta State. But I know that a couple of weeks back, I think the numbers are very low, or if maybe nothing. I'm not sure they've even recorded any deaths. So that sounds like a good thing. But in terms of movement is highly restricted. You only go out if it's solely essential. You have to go to the market or to get something. So that is pretty much in line with what what the federal government has put out there and other health authorities have recommended as part of curbing this crisis, this pandemic. So that is what I'm still researching, still following the news in Delta State. I have folks there, so I'm kind of concerned, and I hope that this thing gets to be controlled at some point, or kind of tends to reduce. I'm going to speak more on the concept of peaking that is floating around among health professionals and what that actually means.
Okay, is the Queen there? Can the Queen?
Yes, I'm here.
How are you doing, Queen? How are you doing today?
I'm okay. And you?
I'm fine. You were, when I discussed with you earlier on today, you were telling me about the 5G conspiracy that is going on in basically in Nigeria, that 5G is responsible for this virus. What can you tell us about what you are hearing?
Well, from what I'm hearing back home, lots of people are not really believing that, except we have some respected people, in the society, person of a man of God and a former senator talking about 5G, that people should be careful, that is the problem we're going to have in Nigeria, right? The question is it the same problem that is happening all over the world? So people have to know the left from right. People shouldn't mislead other people. This thing is real. It's a pandemic that is out there. We're not talking about 5G. I'm just scared about, because a whole lot of people, they believe whoever they are following, and whatever their follower says, they keep to it. And it can be so disastrous and it can be so damaging if people don't listen to what the government is saying by staying at home, that this is real. People should learn how to mislead, the followers. Like a whole lot of people, the man of God even went ahead to say that, this is a scam that is like government want people to stay home because of 5G. They want to erect it somewhere. In America, people are dying. All over the world, people are dying. Is it the same 5G that is killing everybody? The pandemic is real. So people should be conscious of how, to mislead other people, Yeah. Like I'm from Ekiti State, and I happen to marry an Ogun State person. Like right now we've not recorded any incident for real in Ekiti State, but in Ogun State, I think it's lockdown. And I'm sure this thing is spreading. So we should really look at that. Misleading people at this generation, it is bad. It's quite bad and unfortunate. Yeah.
It's what I would say about I'll call them conspiracies. Is that, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, how I'm weighing about the conspiracies that in everything in life, there's always people have their side of story. That's where at the end of the day, whose account do you believe? Over the years, it's been proven that science is science. Science deals with facts. Yeah. It's not in the realm of the spirit, or in the realm of the pastors. They see things differently from what we see as physicians or as scientists. This virus has actually been seen. It's not like they are speculating. Just like I'm saying you, they've actually been able to synthesize the DNA of this virus. Okay. That's how they can say that you are positive. They are not just speculating. That it's not like we're thinking you're positive. So there's a test called the PCR. What the PCR does is that, or the principle is that they try to synthesize the genome, the genetic makeup, the genetic particle of that particular virus. Yeah, the genealogy, and they see the sequence, and they will now say, yes, you are positive. That's the most widely acceptable result that we have. The result can be false or can give you true positive or false positive, but they've been able to see it. So if you've been able to see this virus, like I've been able to see you, why am I still doubting you? That you are not in existence. And there are other things also to disprove those conspiracy theories. There are some, for example, my wife is from Liberia, and this virus has people have been diagnosed positive, over 37 people, because Liberia is also trying to come up with their testing. And we don't have 5G network there. People are from Rwanda, from Kenya, from Egypt, and there's no 5G networks there, and there are people that are positive. For example, in the US, we've been using 5G since the mid-2019 or so. T-Mobile has rolled out 5G. I don't have the virus. I don't know if I have the virus, but many of us don't have the virus. So it's for you to say, oh, it's the 5G that's related to the virus. Probably there's an angle that he's talking from that I may not be privy to, but from the domain of science. Okay, this virus has been seen, and there's so many. Okay, if you say it is 5G, is a wave that is causing this. How come people are recovering? If it was a wave, then that means wave should still be in the air, right?
Exactly.
That means everybody that got it in the US should be having it, and everybody that got it in Italy or in China should. Why should they recover when the wave is still moving around and radiating everywhere? That means everybody should be having it. So how come in my family I have it? For example, a man will have it and the wife does not have it if it is the radiations. And international radiation organizations, several reputable international radiation organizations have come out to say that the frequency of 5G is not have to give you radiation-induced injury. I've been a practicing physician for over 12 years and more and counting. I've been in depth. That's what I mean in depth, submerged in community practice. I've been seeing patients all my life. If I've not seen patients, I've seen over 1 million patients in my life. I've never seen a radio wave-induced injury. Probably other people may have seen. What we know commonly is radiation-induced injury. When I mean radiation, like high-frequency radiation, like X-rays, for example, and those are operating a very high, gamma rays. Those are very high frequency. Yeah, for sure, everything has its side effects. Phone call has, just like water has side effect. I was talking to a fellow colleague yesterday that was trying to say, 5G might be causing this problem. 5G has its own radiation problems. I was like, okay, do you know that the sun actually has a side effect? The sun causes squamous cell cancers that we have. Most of the skin cancers are caused by the sun's ray. So everything has side. Even water, the water that you drink has its own side effect. There's what we call water hypertoxicity. Right? If I drink so much water, I'm going to get some, hyponatremia or whatever. It's a complex cascade to explain. So everything that's even sitting here to talk on this phone, on this thing, may have a side effect on the long run. But those side effects have been disproven not to be enough. Even Tylenol, simple Tylenol, what we call paracetamol, has a side effect when I take it. But there's what we do, there's how we function in medicine when I weigh the benefits and the side effects. And I say, okay, the benefits supersede the side effects. I give you the medication. That's why we give pregnant people Tylenol, right? Not because Tylenol doesn't damage the baby, but we're not going to say, okay, because it has, So that's my perspective. Whatever the men of God are saying or the spiritual people are saying, I'm not saying from their perspective. I'm not in a position to doubt what they're saying or judge them. I'm just talking from the medical perspective, scientist perspective.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, Charles.
I think listening to what the Queen said, the scary part of this is not about, I think it's about those that are running away with this conspiracy. So-called conspiracy about 5G. We had 1G, 2G, 4G, and all that up to this point. The scary part, I don't believe that. So, I don't even know where we're talking about it, but the scary part of it is what she said is about the people that are saying this. Can you imagine the so-called man of God? And these guys have like 1 million followers. And you're talking about a senator. If I'm not mistaken, it's probably one of the senators, they lie, right? Something like that. Yeah, he made a video about this. But the thing is this. I love him. He's a nice guy. But how many of these has he given us in his lifetime? Come on now. How many of these videos? He wakes up every morning and starts singing and puts it on YouTube.
Right.
And then he runs away with it, Right. So the thing is, I don't know how serious people will take him, but we've seen a whole lot from this gentleman. So I don't think people should take him serious. And
what I would say,
that conspiracy theory is not true. It's not true at all.
What I would say is, so there's there are theories and there's those. If you believe or you don't believe in the theory, it doesn't stop you from doing the basic thing that we are recommending. Stay away from people. You could stay away from people and still be believing your theory. Wash your hand and still go on with your theory. Okay, we just want to take this virus out of the society as much as possible. Now, let me explain something. The reason why they don't want people to stay together, we explained it before, why we're calling for social isolation is that this virus is activated when it comes in contact with human cells, right? Now, this is what happens in a very simple explanation. The virus is inactive. When it comes in contact with my cell, it binds to my cell. Now, what happens is that my cell is constantly replicating. My cell sees the DNA particle of the virus and reads it, absorbs it into itself, right, and begins to multiply. The cell has a mechanism of multiplying DNAs, anything DNA particle, right? So it begins to synthesize these particles of this DNA or the virus. But when I stay away from you, let's say I have the virus and I stay away from you, right? It multiplies in me, my immune system fights it and kills it. I'm not going to spread it to the next person. Okay. So, but by the time if we're together, cluster together, and I spread it to you, it multiplies in you. You spread it to another person, it multiplies in that person, and it's been shown that the replication rate or the societal multiplication rate is like 1 person to 3 people. So imagine me transmitting it to 3 people, you transmitting it to another 3 people, the third person transmitting to another 3 people. Before you know, down the line, the whole society has it. Wow. That's what I'm saying. Stay away. If you want to follow your man of God, it's up to you. It's between you and your God. Just do the basic things.
I think the point that should not be lost in what the point in this issue that she has raised is the fact that I do not know what scientifically it's been proven that this virus exists. No doubt. We all agree to that. I do not know the science behind the man of God saying 5G is responsible for this and for that. I do not understand what it is that is bringing to that point where he's saying that it is 5G that is responsible. And you have a lot of followers. You have a lot of people. These are the same people who come out and say they are doing miracles until they find out that the miracles they are doing is false. That you have the woman that was doing miracles that that her hand has been restored, and so many pastors have been using it, and people are being deceived. And so people are using religion as a means of deceiving people and making money and feeding themselves. It is also along that line that they're coming up with all this 5G stuff now. You're a pastor. Preach the Bible. Leave 5G alone. What have you got to do with the Bible and 5G? Preach what 5G is 5G. Technologists take care of 5G. You preach the Bible. That's why you're there. You're a man of God. Preach God. You're right, and leave 5G alone. Let the scientists and the technologists deal with that.
And today, what I expected the men of God to be doing this time around. Not all of them. Some of them are doing good.
Dr. Frost, you want to speak? Frost, you want to speak?
Okay, Doctor, go ahead.
So I don't really have a lot to speak with regards to this. What I would say, there are instances where things that are being said by people and, for example, men of God or society leaders, people that are influential, can actually sway lots of followers and listeners. With respect to this particular, controversy or, conspiracy theory or thing that has been out there, I want to be very careful. Myself, I'm a scientist and I have my own set of beliefs. It's kind of hard for me to become opinionated. When it comes to the topics are pretty sensitive, and I know exactly. Yes, when it comes to the virus has been identified. Like my brother was trying to explain, there are techniques and science methodologies that have resulted in the virus being isolated and identified and studied. The other components of the relationship between the 5G network. I have 5G myself on my phone, and the causal or the etiology of this coronavirus, it's not very clear to me, and I want to be very careful, especially on air, not to delve into that. The other aspect of miracles and all of that, I also want to be very careful. Those life is generally spiritual. That's what I would say, and that's what I did. That's what I believe.
I think.
Let me stop sharing so that.
At this stage of
I was trying to share something to us.
So the thing I wanted to say is this.
Can you see me?
The thing I wanted to say is this quickly. In terms of miracles, because we're scientists, I'm also a Christian and a scientist. I believe in miracles. Yeah, some may be fake, I agree, but I've also seen very real ones. I've seen real ones. I've seen real ones even in the hospital that I work. It mustn't even be in the house of God. I've seen real ones on the road, on the street. We see real ones every day. We're alive. So many people have heart defects and they're walking, and you wonder why they're walking. That could qualify for a miracle. It mustn't be this charismatic. What do I call it? This artistic kind of the things they show on TV. Every day. Oh, now he's walking. Babies are growing on the womb. That could be a miracle. So because there's a lot of, like I said, in everything there's this side and that side. It's difficult now for people to say what is miracle and what is not. But I believe miracles happen from a medical perspective and from a Christian perspective. I've seen.
Let me just add something.
I'll give you a story.
Let me add something to what you're saying just before you continue. As a general rule, and I'll say this, and this is unfortunately what works. Do you know? Let's for those of us that are on this platform that believe in Jesus Christ. Do you know that Jesus Christ couldn't perform one miracle? There was a miracle he couldn't perform. Do we know that? It's in the Bible. There was a miracle that he couldn't perform. He wanted to cast out one demon. He couldn't do it. Why? He couldn't do it. The reason he couldn't do it was not because he wasn't the Son of God, or it wasn't because he wasn't powerful. The reason he couldn't do it was because of unbelief.
Well, let me say something quickly. Let me say something about our unbelief.
Little doctor.
When you believe it won't work for you.
I'm sorry to interrupt you guys.
The Queen, let me say something quickly.
Okay.
Right?
It's not going to work for you.
In the scriptures, right? We're talking scriptures now. There are miracles that happen even when you don't believe. Miracles actually happen so that they will believe. It's not some miracles happen when you believe. Some miracles happen even when you don't believe they happen. I'll give you a lot of example, right? The man that they threw down from the sky to come and from the roof to come and see Jesus. It was his friends that believed, not him, right? There were so many examples when Paul was walking around. Even Elijah, when he called down the fire, people around him did not believe, but he called down fire and he ate up all the prophets. There's so many examples in the Bible where people don't believe and miracles still happen, right? Because God wants to show them that I'm still God. God is bigger than our faith. God is bigger than our belief. God is bigger than what you think, what we're thinking that, I must believe first before he works. In some instances, you believe he works. In some other instances, several instances in the Bible, people did not believe and miracles happened just to let them believe.
Yeah. Right? Well, we not one thing. We are not talking about miracle this time around. So they just mentioned that as in a person. We are talking about misleading people.
Exactly.
Here in the US, we saw it on CNN. The men of God, they came out to sensitize people about this coronavirus, about what you should be careful of, what you should do. It's a kind of campaign. And that is exactly what we expected from some men of God, not to fly out a particular video, knowing fully whether you have a whole lot of dogged followers. When you're talking about followers, they're doggedly loyal. That they don't, when you talk about... Yeah, when you even talk about Bible, they don't even listen. They say, my pastor says. And whatever their pastor says is the final. Why are you coming out with such a video to deceive people? What we are talking about here is human lives. We don't want to lose a whole lot of
I'm going to have to interrupt you because I forget what I want to say.
Is trying their best. They should come out. I expected by now they should sit down and be taking of aftermath of this coronavirus.
I respect your view, Ms. Desola, but personally, I respect your opinions. But personally, it is not my role. If I feel like a man of God is aberrating or there are aberrations in his message, I'm going to go on my knees and pray for him. So that he doesn't mislead, so that he gets the right wisdom of God. So that it doesn't, because yes, you're right. You're partly right. The Bible talks about. You're laughing. You're partly right because the Bible. Let me just land. You're partly right because the Bible talks about at the end of days, there will be people that will come and say Lord, Lord, but they are not Lord. So yes, I'm not going to stay and say that everybody out there who are men of God are actually men of God. No, but what I will not do is to go out about picking up men of God and chastising them. No, it's not my duty to do that. If they are doing things that are wrong, it is between them and God will take care of them. God will handle them and bring justice to those that are being misled. It is not my role. Don't speak for God. I'm personally not going to be in a position to call a man of God. And no.
May I say something?
This is interesting.
Let me say something very careful before you say. Do you know that?
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to just drop this finally. Saul and David had an argument, like most of us know, if you know this story very, very well. It got to a point where Saul wanted to kill David, and David fled.
David is here.
Not this David. Let me just cut the story short. David had the opportunity to slay Saul. He found him sleeping. He was sleeping by his sword, and the young lad took the sword, and he didn't slay the man that wanted to kill him. Quite remarkable. The moral of that story was that he understood that man was favored of God, even though he wanted to kill him, even though he was committing all manner of atrocities. He said that it wasn't in his role to slay him. He had every opportunity to kill him there, but he did not. He walked out quietly, and of course, God took care of him and handled him and disciplined him.
Let me say something. Let me say something.
To chastise men of God, I want to stand and make my opinion very clear. I'm going to pray for them. I'm not going to chastise them publicly. No. I won't do it.
Anybody.
Let me say something.
Can I say something? The Queen is not criticizing the men of God.
No, we're not criticizing anybody. No.
Mr. Charles, let
me say something.
Thank you.
Let me say something.
God, don't get it wrong. We are all very religious, and we can take our religion to any extent. You understand? So she's not
religion, by the way.
Let me say,
this is not religion. Religion is what is a man trying to have a relationship with a God that he hasn't known. That's not Christianity. This is not religion.
Can you, Doctor? Can you
hold on? Religions.
Let me say something.
This is what the Queen is saying. What the Queen, you see, I've been laughing all this while because we have deviated from the topic. What the Queen is saying is that people in authority, whether you're a man of God, you're a senator, or you're this, you're that, do not come out without facts and deceive people, especially if we have a medium now. This is a medium. People are listening to us. There are certain things.
How do you know he's listening people? How do you know?
So
there's no being fact, truth, and the supernatural. They are purely different. They are not the same thing.
There's no
record.
There's no record.
They're not the same thing.
Dr. Francis, for the record,
no, Dr. Edward, hold on.
Listen, gentlemen. For the record, Dr. Francis is an ardent member of the Embassy.
No, that's not relevant. No, it's not relevant at all. And I will say why it's not relevant. No. That's not relevant, sir. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's not relevant. The reason is this.
David,
let me say something.
Dave, hold on.
It's not relevant to Catholic nation.
Dr. Ed, hold on, Dr. Ed. You see, the thing is this. Why we are listening to Dr. Francis? I think the issue here, Dr. Francis, do you think 5G is the cause of this coronavirus?
Are you asking me personally on what I think?
Because I think that is where this thing is going. That
exactly.
people of prominent.
What difference will you make, really? What difference will you make if I tell you what I feel personally? I can tell you what I feel personally, but what difference will you make?
No.
The reason why we have this conversation.
The thing is this: you've already told us, because this is maybe 4 or 5 times we deal on coronavirus on what it is. So the point for this so-called men of God, man, woman of God, somebody coming out preaching to the people about 5G being the cause of coronavirus or whatever. I mean, come on. I mean,
okay. First of all,
take Christian religion, everything apart from this. It does not make sense.
Exactly.
So can I say something?
It's not about a man of God or no man of God, whoever, a human being. But what he's saying here is people on the high authority. Remember, if you know what is going to cause a problem, don't do it.
Exactly.
And this is exactly what they are doing. Go ahead, Dr. Ed.
Thank you. So that we don't deviate too far, although I know this is a radio show, people are listening to us. We could go into so many controversies. People actually want to get these things clarified.
Right.
People really want to get this. I want to. My brother said something about touch not my anointed. We are all anointed. I'm also a man of God. It mustn't be a pastor that is a man of God. We are all men of God. We are all pastors. In my own sphere, I'm a pastor. right? So, and we all fall under the blessings of God.
The pastoral fellowship is the calling. Let me just make it very clear.
I have the calling. I have the calling.
In the Bible days, the children of Israelites had to have a leader. Let me just say something.
Let me finish my line. Let me finish my line.
The two doctors are out there. Let them talk.
I'm not on the air against any pastor. Neither have I said it in my words.
Exactly.
What I said is that in every theory there's this side and that side.
Yes.
Right? But I just want to clarify some things that people in the Bible, Paul and Barnabas had disagreements. And it is okay. It is very okay to disagree with somebody. People make mistakes. It's very okay. That does not mean that I'm touching my anointed. It's but because in Christianity, many people have turned themselves to God of men instead of men of God. They've turned themselves to God of men. Once you disagree with them, their followers attack you because they see their leaders as the God. Right? They want to defend, they stand by their leader instead of standing by God. Right? It's okay to disagree. It's okay to disagree with my brother, but I shouldn't now rain insults on him, relegate him to the background, castigate him and call him stupid and all sorts of names. No, I shouldn't do that. Respectfully, I can say, my brother, I disagree with what you say. That does not mean I'm touching my anointed. No, it's different because it happens in the Bible. Paul and Silas, so many people had disagreement. Even Jesus and Peter, they had disagreement at a point. And they said, okay, this is what Peter cut off his ear. Jesus Christ said, Peter cut off somebody's ear. Jesus Christ said, no. I put it back. That's a form of open.
And that was yesterday. That was yesterday.
Right? But that does not mean that I'm anointed or I'm trying to. I'm just telling you my perspective. This is my perspective. This is a virus. People should do these things. Are these things going to work now? These things I would prescribe. It happened in 1918. If you take your back to the famous flu pandemic that killed people, we stayed apart. They also instituted this thing. If you read I was reading the history book on that, and it killed so many people. Social isolation was instituted, hand washing, all the same things. The virus lasted for 1 year. Eventually, it went away. What we're saying is, whatever theory you want to believe, just don't infect the next person by your side. All right? Just do this thing so that we all can come out of it on time. Because if it's like an all or none theory, if I'm doing social isolation, and you are not doing it, it's like a cycle. It keeps going round and round. It comes back to me because we're going to meet in a common spot. We're going to meet in the supermarket. We're going to meet in the market. We're going to meet in the church. We're going to meet in the hospital. You have it. I don't have it. You give it to me. I give it to my wife. My wife gives it to my kid. My kid takes it to the nurseries, to the school, gives it to the school kids. They take it like that, right? So it's the same. This whole thing. Everybody's suffering. Economies are crashing. People don't have money. I don't even think one thing I also wanted to discuss before I take all the time in the air is I don't even think this social isolation thing is sustainable in some African setting, because people are dying of hunger right now. People don't even have money. And one of my advices to the government or to the people that are leading, they should restructure this social isolation in a way. I'll give you an example. If you want to go to church, for example, you could go to church in a mass field where people sit far apart, right? And you can still pass your message. Like the markets should be brought to the public schools or to a large field where people don't have to clutter, because the atmosphere is big enough to take all our breath away. So the bread don't get condensed, right? People in the villages that don't have the incident rate could at least enjoy some level of limited freedom, because the incidence rate in some villages are very low, very, very low. They could restrict entry, or anybody that is entering the village has to be quarantined for 14 days. But they know that they don't have villages, so they, like in Timbuktu village, for example, in Ethiopia or in Zaire or wherever. Those places, the chances that they will have it is a little bit on the lower side. So they could, first of all, isolate the village, then allow people to observe social isolation in those villages, go about their farm duty. I go to my farm. I'm not going to infect anybody there. I come back, I cook my food. I go to my market where I'm spaced apart, and the government provide buses to carry them around, more buses, infuse more money into the society. These are what we're talking, developing local strategies to meet the needs of the people. In the US, it's difficult to do contact tracing because we're hitting over 100 and something thousand people. So how are you going to do contact tracing for 100 and something? But in Nigeria, they have 300 people right now, about 300 people. You can actually do effective contact tracing for 300 people effectively and isolate everybody that is in contact with those people if the government means it. Like, I know that in Liberia, where my wife is from, you could do if. So I don't take up the time. Thanks.
Queen, do you have anything to say, Queen, before I say something?
Yes. Well, concerning, I'm not taking you guys back. Concerning this, maybe we should fellowship and stay apart. There's what is called internet church. A friend of mine came up with this idea. He had a calling 3 years ago, but he didn't come. He was fighting it. When he eventually came up to do that last year, October, or maybe November, October, some pastors were calling him Antichrist. But now, all of them are having internet churches. You don't need to have an edifice to have a church. It's just for us to have a coming together to study the word of God and, pay our tithes online, pay our offering online if it's convenient for us to do it. The bottom line is win souls for God. That is my own thing. I'm a Christian. I love God. But it pains my heart when certain things are happening that it makes us like we're reversing instead of moving forward.
Uncle T, the Queen is so particular about this topic. Maybe we'll continue on it next week.
We'll continue next week.
Wait, let me just address what you just said. We all have our
Dr. Francis on the line.
Okay, one of the things, your points are very valid. I respect them, and I understand where you're coming from. This is not a religious or a Christian debate, let's say.
No.
We kind of move to that direction. But what I want to say is this: there's a tool that a Christian has. There's a weapon that a Christian has to change all these things. Whatever the opinion you have is, and by the way, Mr. Charles, you asked me a question about 5G in relationship. As it relates to, coronavirus. I'm a scientist. I work with data and facts. I know if I say something that's going to kind of turn into something else, I'm just going to be quiet about that. You already know what I want to say, so I'm not going to go into that. Wait, you can go on your knees and through your prayers, make changes, those changes that you so desire in your heart. If you want these people to go towards the direction, so let's pray for them. That God, because yes, I agree with you that some of them may be misleading people. Why they're doing that, how they're doing that, I really don't know. What am I going to do about it? Pray for them. That's where I'll leave it. By the way, I wanted to share some facts with us, just some data. I don't know if I'm allowed to, if I still have some time, to share some information with us. One of the things I wanted to say is that we have to be mindful that for some reason, this COVID-19 tends to affect, it kind of tends to go along the child, pattern. Okay, let's see if I can. I hope I'm allowed to share this. This is from the John Hopkins. Okay. Okay. Can you all see my screen? So I wanted to share.
What is okay? Is that the data? Is that the latest data from?
Yeah, I just wanted to show us because I usually visit this site. The John Hopkins University of Medicine. Can we all see this?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So looking at these numbers, these are astronomical numbers. They're not very encouraging. But one of the things I want us to pay attention to is if you look at this number here, you can see that the number that have recovered, the total number recovered is pretty high, which means that most people will recover. Again, I'm not saying this so that of course we'll throw caution to the wind and do what we like to do because we feel like we can recover. No. We can also pass it to those that, are likely to come down with very severe illness. So these numbers, you can see all the numbers that have been confirmed positive. Total deaths is 108. Now, if you zone into this section, you see that Europe, North America has been largely affected, which I can. But Africa still has pockets of areas where this virus is still kind of spreading. The concern with Africa is because of the infrastructure, the healthcare system that is not well established. So the numbers there may jump exponentially, which is the fear. So I just want to share this. I hope I'm sure most of us can assess this side anyways, the John Hopkins School of Medicine. But what I would say before then is that this virus tends to affect, for the most part, African Americans and Black people because of different illnesses and the health disparities that affect the Black or people of color generally. So let's be very mindful of that. The highest percentage of deaths have occurred amongst African Americans, quite unfortunately, but it's true. Most of them have associated illnesses, hypertension, reactive airway diseases like asthma, COPD, diabetes mellitus. These are conditions that can actually predispose them to coming down with this illness. So, as we all wage this storm together, let's be mindful of that. We're all African Americans for the most part. So let's pay a lot more attention to those precautions that have been out there.
Okay. We have very few minutes to go, so everybody have to cut it a little bit, quicker. Charlie, can you round up? Can you say something?
All I can say is that, hey, please, everybody should act up. Don't try to be a hero. Heroes are the ones that would die. I mean, the numbers doesn't lie. There's a proof there. Statistically, the numbers are there. So please, act responsibly. Don't go out there spreading this. And please, to every one of you, happy Holy Saturday and happy Easter. See you next week.
Yeah, Dr. Eddie.
So I'll address two things. I'll address the conspiracy, and I'll also address medicine from a medical perspective. First, it's okay to disagree. It's very okay. There's nothing biblically wrong with disagreeing with anybody, publicly or privately. Your mode of disagreement is not in contention in the Bible. Paul disagreed with some people publicly. That does not mean that I should, denigrate your personality. You're free to choose to listen to whatever you want to choose. But from the medical perspective, this is a virus. For now, it could mean something else later in the future. It could also evolve. It could mean, science evolves as humans evolve. We could come out tomorrow and discover that, it's not actually a virus. It could be something, it could be cytokines, it could be antibody, antigen attack, it could be, but for today, they've been able to synthesize the virus. Do the basic things that they want you to do. I'll talk from prevention perspective. Take a lot of fruits, vitamin C's, they help. These are antioxidants. Remember that we're indoors now. Many of us are indoors. We're not getting sunlight. Don't forget your vitamin D because we're indoors. We're not getting any sunlight. Kids are indoors. Everybody are indoors. We're all black-skinned people. We're not getting enough sunlight. Don't forget your vitamin D. Yeah, over-the-counter vitamin Ds that you could get. Eat enough fruit. Exercise. Do a lot of exercise. If you want to do exercises that will lead to procreation, okay, that's fine. If you want to do exercises that will lead to reduction in muscle mass, that's fine. Keep your mental health steady. Call someone. Social isolation does not mean phone isolation. Call people. Interact on the internet. Be happy. If the news is distressing you, cut down the news. You could take a walk in the park. There's nobody in the park. You're not going to give it to people.
Thank you, Eddie. Yeah. With the Queen, what can you say? Let's round up.
Yes. Before I'll say bye till next week, I'll still love to appreciate our sponsors. They've been together from the beginning of this program. This Seafood and Poultry, we want to say a very big thank you to you for being a loyal sponsor of this program from the beginning, even before we start on air. They've always been there for us. Every Sage International Food, we say thank you to you. Afrique International, you also a good sponsor. Thank you so much. Radio Style International Market, we say thank you to you also. And Eze Okobi, the creator, we say thank you to you for being part of this program. We expect more sponsor, and if you want to listen to Men of God, because we are home, we still need to praise our God. We still need to pray. Move close to God. Being isolated, don't go to church doesn't mean that you shouldn't, talk to your pastor or join the online service. Powerhouse CAC Christ Apostolic Church Baltimore, thank you for being a part of this sponsor. We appreciate Pastor Dr. Sunday Ajibade. And if you want to reach him, you can call him on 410-294-9302. 410-294-9302. Thank you so much for listening to this program. We're going to continue next week. I wish everybody be safe, listen to what the government is saying, get your supplies, and be safe.
Yeah,
Uncle T.
Uncle T, what do you have to say to round up?
Mr. Tunde.
Program. So this is very good. I like the energy. I like the vibe. This is the way the program should be. So this is very well. Everybody out there, I want to say happy Easter in advance. Happy Sabbath. Celebrate. Unfortunately, we're all going to be celebrating indoors. Nobody's going out. So social distancing, very, very important. We need that to take this virus out. It's amazing. Every other war you fight, we come together to wage a war. But this time around, we are staying apart to wage a war. It's against the virus. But anyway, everybody be safe, enjoy your Easter, and then we'll talk again next week.
Yeah, Dr. Francis, can you round up?
Thank you very much, everybody. It's been a very exciting time. Like Mr. Tunde said, the energy was just pretty interesting. I mean, we kind of started veering towards something that was not exactly related, but in a way related to what we're saying. So very exciting conversations, and for everyone that has joined us and all our sponsors, thank you so very much. It's the Easter weekend. I didn't even know that we've already spent all the time, and we barely played any music or anything. But you see, the show will continue. I want to especially thank Mr. David Adodo for this wonderful show. It is the African Voices Radio on Praise 106.1 FM. From the city of Baltimore. Thank you so very much. Remain blessed and happy Easter. Stay safe. Very important.
Dr. Francis, Dr. Eddie, you want to say something? I know you have to say.
No, Eddie. No, Eddie's fine, man. It's okay. If you have a minute, all I can say is that anybody that celebrates this Easter tomorrow is already special. Okay, and remain special. You can imagine not a lot of people are seeing tomorrow. Think about that, and you're gonna remain special for the rest of our life.
Okay.
Everybody that stays home is a hero. Everybody that stays home is a hero.
Tunde, Eddie.
When you said I should say something, in my culture, my brother is my elder brother. So when he says, that's final. I just keep quiet.
That's what our parents taught us.
That's African culture for you.
Let me say something. Now, can I speak as the host of the show? I want to thank everybody for coming to the show. All my co-hosts, I really appreciate you, your contribution to this show. I want to advise my brothers and sisters back in Africa. We love you. We want you to do the right thing. We want you to see the end of this coronavirus. We don't want you to be a victim. Listen to what the government is saying. Listen to what the government is saying.
Yes.
Maintain social distance.
Yes.
If you don't have sanitizer, go and get alcohol. Go and get
I don't know if Dr. Frank has something to say about this one.
No, I don't have anything to say. I'm going to be quiet. I'm mute.
Okay.
And go to everywhere that you are going. Every time you touch something, the doorknob, your feet, you just bring it out and pour a little bit on your hand. Rub your hand together. Don't leave home without your alcohol if you cannot afford sanitizer. Get a scarf for your mask. And just tie it around your nose and your nose and your mouth everywhere you go. Do not give the excuse that you don't have money to buy scarf. You don't have money for sanitizer. And again, I want to ask the Federal Republic of Nigeria. People are hungry. I advise the government. I suggest to the government to provide food through the military. You can buy trailers and rice and other essentials, and use the military, the civil organizations to distribute these essentials to the people that are being locked down. We are going through coronavirus right now. I don't want people to go into hunger virus. As much as it can kill people. So the federal government needs to provide food for everybody. They may not, some don't even have money to buy food. So the only way you can provide food for these people, buy them in large quantities, use your trailers. Have trailers. The military have trailers. Go to the nooks and corners of Nigeria, distribute this rice. Okay, they will be alive. Another thing I want to say is that the Chinese government should stop harassing Nigerians in China. Chinese government should stop harassing Nigeria.
Yes.
Okay, so please, the federal government should talk to the Chinese, make sure that they are. God bless.
Happy Easter, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, happy Easter. Christ is risen.
Happy Easter, everyone.
Are we still on radio? Hey, Jason. Are we? Oh, okay. So we can have our final chat. You know, we usually have the chat after the chat, so we can have the chat after the chat.
If you're willing to go back to Nigeria, depending on where you are, I think Nigerian government, you got to contact Nigerian embassies where you are. Right. They are making plans for any Nigerians that wants to fly back home within this pandemic period. And a lot of people are registering. A lot of people are calling and registering because some people came here. Some people that visited here kind of get stuck in going back. So
yeah, we're ready.
Yeah. So,
but you could leave the Facebook feed for a while.
African Voices Radio presents David Adodo Show on 106.1 FM.
WLIF HD2 Baltimore.
The all-new Praise 106.1, giving our city just what we need right now. Baltimore's inspiration station. Praise 106.1.
From the Big Al Studio, Baltimore's #1 accident attorney.
Tune in each and every week to WOLB and check out their new show, Holistic Hour with the Dentist, with Dr. H.M. Dunstan, giving you everything you need to know about the best dental hygiene for you. Dentistry, or known as dental and oral medicine, is a branch of medicine that consists of the study, diagnosis, prevention, and treatment of diseases and conditions of the oral. Learn the proper things that you need to do to take care of your teeth, type of toothpaste, flossing, and other medical treatments that can make sure that your oral is on tip-top condition. Learn about the different dental procedures, braces, tooth whitening, extraction, bridges, dentures, oral surgery, dental implants.
So that was a very nice show.
No, but it's still on YouTube.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Yeah, it's still on
So
YouTube.
the thing I was saying is, we people should, when intellectuals are talking, they should be allowed to disagree, because we all cannot agree on one thing, and we shouldn't force our opinion on other people. All I just need to do is to say, and I should be free to come out in public and say, look, Mr. Man, I don't agree with what you're saying. Okay. I said, when intellectuals are talking like this, we should be free to say, I don't agree with what you're saying. Right? That does not mean I hate you. That does not mean I'm disrespecting you. That does not mean I am touching my anointed.
Correct.
That doesn't mean I'm attacking you. Right? I should be able to have the same freedom that you have. If you take away my freedom to disagree with you, then it becomes slavery. Then I'm no longer worshiping with you. I now become your slave. Right?
Exactly.
You now become my God. I cannot now challenge your authority.
Exactly.
The Catholic Church has come out to say that the earth was flat at a particular time. Do you know how many people they killed that disagreed with them? But after a while, as science evolved, they found out they were wrong. And they were wrong about that assumption. And they changed it. A certain man of God came out to say that TV is wrong. And he preached it across his millions of people. After a while, he's the one using TV now to broadcast to people.
Exactly.
Science has come out to say that HIV is not HIV. After a while, they came out to say that HIV is HIV. There were some diseases in the past, smallpox, that they could not understand at a particular time. As life was evolving, they understood it. And the people that made them to understand it were the people that challenged them. If nobody actually challenged them and say, hey, you said the smallpox is caused by chicken. It's actually by a virus. If at that time that they said smallpox was caused by maybe adultery, meanwhile, it was actually caused by a virus, and they were killing the opposition voices. What is happening now in the Christendom is that the leaders of the church, they don't want to be challenged. They taught their followers to be yes and amen.
Absolutely, you're right. They put so much fear. They putting so much fear in their followers.
And saying,
they putting so much fear.
You're right.
I don't know how they're able to do that.
You're right. Right.
Even if you don't give money, you're dead. Even if you don't give money, you are dead. I don't know how they were able to do that.
I'm just saying that what you're saying, I don't agree with that based on this fact that I have. And you're telling me based on that fact that you have, and people are attacking me for telling you that I don't agree with what you're saying. Where's the world going to?
I saw a man of God. I saw a man of God take a shower in the middle of the church and ask them to drink the water that he bathed in. And I can see it. Somewhere in Africa, a man of God.
No, not in Nigeria. If you see some of the things
in a tub and then ask them to use the water to drink whatever is curing.
Yeah.
Don't believe everything you see on the internet.
The thing is that
it's a video in the church.
No, the thing is that Uncle T, they are in everything in life. They are fakes.
There's one that sleeps with women for them to get pregnant. Have you seen that?
Wait, Uncle T, in everything in life, right? They are fakes and they are originals.
Right.
It's just that it's so hard now to say what is fake and what is original.
But the fake is so fake that you will be like, what is going on?
I kind of wonder, these people, do they hypnotize them for them not to be able to see? The Bible is so clear. The Bible is so clear. When we were growing up, we go to church, we do a Bible study, they teach us the right way. Most people, especially in Africa, I think maybe it's poverty that is leading a whole lot of people to this. Because in a society where poverty is the thing, they kind of believe whatever they tell them. That's the problem. And the poverty has now eaten up to their heart. It's poverty of the heart. It's not ordinary poverty anymore. That whatever they tell them, they just I believe.
I tell people that the church has a role to play in this pandemic, right? The church has a very large followership that they could do a lot. They could actually organize scientific conferences to look at these things. They could actually call up what stops them from sponsoring research?
Exactly.
What stops them from sponsoring research? What stops them from sponsoring hospitals? What stops them from sponsoring people to come together and say, hey, Francis, Edwards, I know you guys have this knowledge. Can we put up an academy where people can sit down and we talk about and we reason these things out? The thing is that a lot of people are suffering. The reason is that the thing is that probably they don't have that calling. Different people have their perspective. Have their different callings.
You know what? Doctor, I'm sorry, I might be wrong.
You are not talking.
But from my own perspective, we all know what is right. We know what we're supposed to do.
Well,
we all know what we're supposed to do. The men don't know what they're supposed to do, but they will not do it. They won't do it. And why? Is because an average African person, we are so selfish that we want everything to be ours. The example is clear. Even from our government, they want to acquire everything to themselves. The wealth they cannot even finish in their lifetime, they want to acquire it. And this thing has eaten onto the religious sector. Not only Christians alone, the Muslim people too, they're following suit. It's so that those people, they don't talk. They keep quiet, but they do the same thing. It's just this African mentality in us. This thing of me, I want to have everything. What do they need those things for?
Well, the I syndrome is everywhere. You know, in the psychology of humans, as we're growing, there's what they call the id, the ego. You know, Sigmund Freud's theory of human behavior. We think of ourselves first, then before we think of others. So it cuts across every ethnicity in life.
Sorry for cutting you. Now look at Mr. Adodo. Not that he's super rich like most of these pastors that have jets and stuff like that.
He's super rich.
No, like those people, like some churches that does he have?
His cash money. Mr.
Now,
Adodo's cash money.
Does he have his own fleet? Now, the today is discussing that, okay, this show, what can we give back to the society?
Uncle Charles is cash money. You see all these people, Mr. T, Mr. Dodo, Uncle Charles, these are billion-dollar men. Don't say that. Don't say it. These are billion-dollar men. You're talking billion-dollar.
Let's be realistic.
No.
Let's be realistic. All these people.
Don't go there, man. Dave, look at this dog. How can you compare somebody with doctors, man? Don't even go there.
Doctor is just a name. How much? Doctors is just. Sir.
How can you compare me with Pastor Suleiman, for example?
Of course, I can compare. You know why?
Why not? Who is he?
Wait. Let him explain. Mr. Charles, let him explain it.
Let me explain. Why not? Riches is perspective, not about how much you have in the bank. Riches is perspective. You are affecting people's life. That is how we measure how much rich you are. I know how many people's life you have touched.
Yes.
I know how many people's life you've impacted. Sitting from here, so I have all the billions in my bank account and I'm not doing anything. Of what use is it to humanity?
Yes, that is exactly. That is exactly what we are saying.
Millions of people.
That is exactly what we are saying. Mr. Adodo works hard to make his own money, and he's still working hard to make his money. Some people, of course, I can get up tomorrow and say I want to become a woman of God. I have a call. I will study the Bible. I will know it. I will talk, and people, they will bring the money to me. I'm telling you, it's just a realtor. They just know how to talk. That is all. Those people, they did not really sweat. We're talking about people sweating to make money in a legitimate way. Even if you don't make the money in a legitimate way, how are they impacting people's lives? They are rich. They are not well. You are talking about wealth. They amass wealth. Are you getting what I'm saying? They are amassing wealth that they cannot even finish. What are they doing with it? Impact people's lives. A whole lot of graduates are there in their churches doing nothing. They're not doing nothing. They acquire land. Why can't they build? Why can't they have farms and put these people there? Build estate there. They work. They have engineers. They have, people that learn it.
Wait, don't go me, Mama.
I just hope this virus will open people's eyes.
We're going to discuss this next week.
Sir?
So, Doctor,
sir,
after my own problem is not what to do with money. It's not money. It's what to do with money. People.
I know that. These are billion-dollar men talking. It's a privilege for a young man like me to sit with you guys and be, exchanging knowledge. I'm very privileged.
For me to be talking with you and with Dr. Francis. But honestly, believe me, I'm so happy knowing two of you, man. Not
Ladies
really
and
the first
gentlemen.
doctors, but I just saw the doctors. We have doctors in our family, but you guys are so exceptional, man. I'm telling you. The way you guys see things, I'm telling you.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Who?
There are 5 doctors that are Okobis in the family.
You guys want to tell me how you guys did it? I need to meet all of you. I need to interview all of you.
So we can. So
it's in the blood. It's in the blood.
So we can. I don't know what we're discussing next week. Are we continuing on the same virus?
There's nothing we can talk about now. Nobody wants to hear anything. It's coronavirus. Nothing new.
The thing that really baffles me is that since this virus...
Doctor, the only thing we can infuse in whatever we're going to discuss next week is aftermath of coronavirus. People are seated in the house. They're sitting home. What can you do aftermath of coronavirus? And lots of people have lost their jobs. What are you looking at to find something to do for yourself? I'm thinking about that. I'm still working, but I'm looking at, okay, I have this phone with me. I can do a whole lot. I picked a whole lot of, to all of you, I picked a whole lot of you that, okay, I need to have my Instagram page. I want to activate it. I want to start interviewing you people and put it on Instagram. Impact people's life. It's true. Mr. Adodo will tell us his success story in America. People will watch. I will talk to you as a doctor. How come you people are 5 in your family? How come your mama do something or your papa do something?
My father forced us.
We're going. People can do so many things at this time where people are going to get hungry after this thing. People
are already hungry.
Sorry?
People are already hungry.
They're already hungry. So I expect those are the things, even aside from what the government is doing now. Back in Africa, America, they are doing great. They're looking out for people. They're looking out for small business owners. But back in Africa, what are we looking at? Than for the Accountant General Office to get bonds.
What I would say about development in Africa is it starts from me and you.
Yeah.
We want to begin to point fingers to government, Mr. Adodo, Mr. Charles, Mr. Tunde. We're gonna miss it. Where I work, I do my best. I'm a scientist in my office. I do my best to bring in exemplary leadership and excellence. And my next door neighbor does his best to bring out exemplary leadership, absolute top class medical practice. And it resonates, and the hospital eventually becomes a worldwide because it begins from the cell, right?
Yes.
Each person does his due quota. There are arguments I would say, okay, the government doesn't create an enabling environment, we cannot function. Yes, I agree. But okay, if the government is not creating, what am I doing myself? What am I doing, from myself? What is the conductor doing? What is the pastor doing? What is the gateman doing? What is the manufacturer doing? A very good example of an economy to study is the Chinese government. How come the Chinese government is the only independent? In fact, my wife calls the Chinese government the real MVP. They are the only independent government in the world. They can close their border and they still function. How come they're able to build every single thing?
Because you know what, doctor? Because they have been on this thing for years back. I remember then I was still working in Nigeria. I went to Zenith Bank. That was about close to 20 years ago. The Chinese were just coming up at that time. They were not where they are today, right? They were still coming up and they were having this discussion in the banking hall. I actually went inside, not inside the banking hall, in the executive office where we were seated. They were saying in another 10 years the Chinese will rule the world. How did they do it? We can do it. We're highly populated.
America will rule the world. America will rule the world.
Well, America will rule the world. No. When it comes to manufacturing, when it comes to other things, okay, right now.
The Queen continue to talk. Dr. Edward said anybody have the right to disagree with anybody, but continue to say what you say. Don't worry about what he's talking there, okay? You are continue, Queen. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's very okay to disagree with people. It's very okay.
So leave David Adodo. Queen, continue.
We're looking at, okay, we need to encourage ourselves. in a society where people are hungry. And that is where we have to, that is the first thing we have to address back in Africa. People are hungry, and hungry man is an angry man. And every person is looking to get into a particular position just to go and embezzle money. Why? Wait, poverty of the heart. Okay, when you have this money in your constituency, just your constituency, do something. Let the youth, let them, the energy they have, right? The energy they have, let them put it in something. My husband is into, hotel management and consultancy. The number of youth that comes to the hotel, it saddens my heart. It will be because they are not busy. They are not busy. After school, nothing for them to do. You see all these some people, before their children graduate, we are being recycled in Nigeria. The people that have been ruling us from inception of independence, they are the people that are still there.
Let me say something.
Our war is no longer there.
Let me say something. The thing is that there's a constellation of problem. A constellation of problem. Let me just mention a few. The education system has built us in Africa to believe that if I don't become a bachelor or BSc or master's holder, I cannot get a good job. They train me to get a job instead of to create job. So as I'm graduating, I'm thinking of who is going to employ me rather than what am I going to do to employ people. Now, another point of view is say, okay, how do I employ people when I'm not even empowered? That's why I said it's a constellation of problem. So what is the government doing to support or to denounce that mindset that I want to get employed in Zenith Bank? To say, okay, when you finish, how do we empower you? So that's another problem. The government is not supporting the people. Mm-hmm. The third one is that we grew up glorifying people that are living in affluence. So I see affluence as the only source of happiness. People are not contented.
Just right? Now.
So I look at Dr. Mr. David Adodo now. He's so, you know how he is. He's been to his mansions. Now I want to be like him. Not knowing that he may not even be happy where he's living now. I'm not saying he's not happy, but he may not be even happy. Wealth may not even bring me happiness. So, but I grew up with that mindset that once I see the cars, the big cars, I want to be like them. So I train my son to be like them. In fact, that was one of the reasons why my father drove us into medicine, because the medical doctors were living well. Not only that, there are other reasons. The medical doctors it was easy for them to get a job. Another thing is there's the check and balance system. People are corrupt. You give the governor money to do something, he squanders the money. Nothing checks in the American system. Mm-hmm. Take a loan and don't pay it back and see whether you qualify for another loan. You cannot qualify for another loan because it's a check and balance system. I tell people that the social security number system in America helped them a lot. Whoever built that system, I love this country. This is my country. I am from Nigeria, but I love America. I love the way they did these things. Now, speed pass, run past the red light or a speed limit. The camera is going to take your picture and send it to your home. I've received so many tickets here. Now, I'm very conscious next time. I'm not going to overspeed because it's a check system. Systems check people. People don't check people, right? But in Nigeria, somebody will run like 1 million.
I don't want to cut you off. You continue from where you stop.
Francis has been waiting to talk. Dr. Francis has been waiting to
No.
talk.
Listening is an art. I'm learning a lot. I'm listening.
Check and balances. Listen that you just said, in Nigeria, right?
Right.
Right now, as we speak, if you screw up in the bank account that you have now, the banking system had a better record than the government themselves. You cannot open an account again in Nigeria if you don't settle the ones that you just messed up.
Right.
This is
some balances.
Just like what you just said now, if you mess up your social, if you mess up your loan, you can't get another one. If you don't, the problem is, I don't know why the government can't do it. Why the banking system there does this thing you are saying now. You cannot open two accounts now.
So this is my theory. This is my theory why I say the government can't do it, right? This is what I think. The government can't do it because the wrong government is at the helm of affairs, because the masses were impoverished to elect the wrong government. If you watch what happens in Africa,
so
the people actually, it's like a cycle that doesn't have a beginning and an end.
That's what I said. They're recycling us. They're recycling the society, right? Somebody like you guys are doctors, but you find yourself in America. What are you doing in America? What am I doing in America?
I'm doing a lot of things in America, please.
No, let's be realistic. If our country is well built, we have a whole lot of mineral resources untapped.
Nigeria is great.
It's
I don't
great.
care what I mean, we're going to come out through this.
Rich in
it's the
mineral
best
resources.
country it can be.
Exactly.
You know? Go home and say,
okay, right
this
now
doesn't really work.
Yes, right now they brought
coronavirus.
They brought Chinese doctors to Nigeria. I read it in the news. Some doctors they just fired some doctors, and you guys are bringing in doctors when we have better qualified doctors in Nigeria. How are they encouraging them?
So the Chinese,
we are talking about ourselves that, okay, we will build a society, right? It's easy to build a society. If the head is not straight, it will affect the whole body. When I was growing up, we were not looking at those affluents that you, the new generation, are looking at. There was average, you have the first class, you have the middle class. Right now, there's no middle class. If you are not there, you're not there. And everybody wants to be there.
Right.
That's what people are saying.
But I don't think there's something wrong bringing more doctors to come and help with what is happening. Every country needs help on this particular issue.
I'm talking about the people that they just lay off. So, not Chinese.
What is wrong with Chinese if they have to come from there? Come on.
Let me say something.
Doctor, Mr. Sam.
Let me say something.
Our qualified doctors that are here. Why did government invite them back home to come and help the situation?
Let me say something.
We have the best doctors in America.
Let me say something.
That's not. Americans are bringing doctors and nurses from all over the world where they can find some.
Let me say something about these Chinese doctors that visited the country. So we're going to look at it from two perspectives, right? I belong to the American Medical Association. I also belong to the Nigerian Medical Association. It's okay to trade information. It's okay to exchange information. Very okay. I mean, no one knows it all. The Chinese first witnessed this virus, and they were able to tackle the virus to control it. So it's important to understand, how did you do it? So we don't begin to scratch from the beginning. So we can trade knowledge and say, okay, how did you do it? On the other hand, right, a nation wants to be sovereign, very, very sovereign. And the Nigerian Medical Association has said that, hey, we can tackle this. Why are you guys bringing these people? So they should have also been listened to. But do you know what I see? It sounds very funny that these doctors actually came in to service the VIP. You think they came in to service the normal people in society? Because the borders are locked. These politicians cannot travel to UK or London. So it's like, if Mohammed cannot go to the mountain, you bring mountain to the Mohammed. So that's why when they were coming in, they brought in a cargo plane load of hospital equipment so that they could set up this thing. So if any of them goes into respiratory failure or whatever, they could service them. I'm telling you, you'll be surprised. That's why.
Doctor, so how do we grow? How do we progress? When we have a situation like that on hand, how do we progress?
We keep coming back that our problem is government. In as much as we that are being governed haven't really behaved very well, we know that. Some Nigerians, we need to re-engineer our thinking, our brains. But generally, the problem, number one, who we are looking at are the ones on top. The ones on the top as one of the biggest problems we have. In as much as, like I said, I continue believing almost every Nigerians need to be re-engineered again, the way we think, the way we do things, our thought process in Nigeria. I don't even know if a good government can, at this point, change the thought process. But I think you will, because I love that. I don't care what anybody said. Nigeria is a good country,
This is my own take on it. I've listened to everybody very attentively and quietly. And what I want to draw out of it is this. It is okay for us to share information if the magnitude of the problem is the same. We have about a couple of hundreds in Nigeria. In China, they had over thousands. You understand? What information are we sharing? Now, we have doctors here. What do the Chinese ought to be asking us? How have we been able to keep this thing down? Not for us to bring doctors from China. We have doctors in Nigeria that have graduated.
Exactly.
We have people that have graduated that don't have jobs that can do better. We are managing the disease better than the Chinese managed it when there was an outbreak in China.
That's true. I agree with you.
We have a dense population and everything. We're managing it better than they did. So why bring them here? Just like on the other side, like you said, they are there to service the rich people, not the poor people.
Not the poor people.
I'm talking about re-engineering Nigerians.
You see, that's the confidence. You see the kind of confidence they have in our people. Really. So that's why it's regardless of whatever, because they couldn't sneak out anymore.
They cannot.
Because they know they have not done anything in Nigeria that will give them confidence enough to visit those facilities. So now they have to go bring that facility. Like you said, are you telling me now that this guy that in Anambra now, they're going to bring the Chinese guy to come and attend to him?
No way.
No. Hell no. Hell no.
That's the thing. Yeah. It's been by a Nigerian doctor. You see, so the problem there now is that I don't believe government has to do everything for us as individuals.
Obviously. Government doesn't do anything. Government doesn't do everything for every country. In every country, government doesn't do everything for them.
Listen now. The general thing in Nigeria, if anything goes wrong, we blame the government. We blame the head. We say government didn't do this, government didn't do that. We are here in America. We're doing things to ourselves. Government will provide basics. Yes, I agree.
But the thing is that they have the control of everything.
Wait, Mr. Charles. Wait, Mr. Charles.
Nigerian government is in control of everything.
Wait, let him finish what he's saying.
Let me finish what I'm saying. I sat down here quietly and listened to everybody for like 30 minutes or 20 minutes.
You didn't listen to me. You didn't listen to me, oh.
So what I'm saying is this, that we as individuals, we have to help ourselves. The government should provide basics. I agree. We have a right to life, right to electricity, right to growth. Government should do that. Why we pay taxes. If we in Nigeria pay taxes religiously, and if somebody is not eating the money, you understand, like as ARS, you cannot chop the money. Nigeria is the reverse case. If we do what we're supposed to do, we will be in a better position. But because, like I said, we have to re-engineer every Nigerian. Twins from the same womb have different thoughts. Twins from the same womb have different ideas of doing things. We always have to find a common ground. That's why we have Democrats and Republicans. In Nigeria, it is not like that. It is where the from that we run to. So it is hunger. Back to what Queen said in the beginning. It is hunger that is driving people. With $1 naira, you can't eat in Nigeria. It's not possible.
It's not.
So if people are not hungry, people are able to sit down and think for themselves. I won't have to go and prostrate before a pastor, a human being like me, because it's a man of God, because he's going to feed me. It's because of hunger. It is because of hunger. If people are not hungry, they will not be going to all these things that they are doing. So,
Tunde, now I'm not cutting you off, though, but I disagree with that last statement.
It's not hunger. Hungry? It's not hunger.
It's greed.
Mr. Charles,
hunger.
Mr. Charles. Greed. No, Mr. Charles, let me tell you something. We're talking about poverty. We're talking about poverty.
Vote election, when they want to vote, investors they 50 naira and give us 50 naira, and we will line up from here to anywhere to vote for that person.
Because people are hungry. People want to feel right about now because they don't know where the next meal is coming from.
And don't come to you and use $50,000, $100,000 naira. Vote for me. You vote for him. People are hungry. It's the same thing in Nigeria.
Do you know what? Let me say something. Okay, say it, Doctor, before I will say what I wanted to say.
Quinn has to say something, because Quinn has to smile. Quinn has to smile. Okay.
There are no good.
Let me say something.
Go ahead.
You know,
I agree.
Tomorrow now, go do road. They go give people contract.
I agree with Uncle T very well.
So,
but I also want to. I agree with Uncle.
About government. Let government sit down with
you don't best. You don't best.
I don't work for Nigeria, bro.
I agree with Uncle T very well. I also feel there's no one particular thing that is the problem. There's no one thing that you're going to hold and say this is a problem in Africa. It's a constellation of a whole lot of things. So many things. I'll give you an example. I visit Lagos from here occasionally, right? When I visit, I drink my pure water. I throw it out of the window.
What party?
I throw it out.
What party?
I drink my water, right? I throw it out of the window. In the streets of Washington.
A watch party, okay.
Throw your can.
In the streets of Washington, I don't do that.
Yes.
A lot of us come here, we don't do that. But in Lagos, I drink, I just throw it away. And the streets are all littered.
Well, wait.
In 2016, I went to Nigeria. I went to Balogun markets. Those people who sell ice cream, they were passing by. I saw one that I've had a long time ago. I got the ice cream. When I was taking it, I was asking my friend, my host, where is it? He said, what is wrong with you? We throw it in on the floor. I felt very...
Exactly.
Because I've been in America for so long. I said, no, they have to put in the trash can. He said, no, throw it on the floor, my friend. He took it from me and threw it on the floor. There's no trash can.
Exactly. Now,
that was why...
Doctor, Tunde made a very good point. When we say we don't have government that can do anything for people, okay, no, there's no electricity, no water, no water running, there are no good roads. Even people that set up their own business, at the end of the day, they ended up folding up. I have a friend that has business in Nigeria. Every time he calls, there is no diesel. There is no diesel. There is no diesel. They keep saying there's no diesel. And you have to buy diesel to do your business. How long can you do that? At the end of the day, a whole lot of businesses, they fold up. They move to Ghana. Country move to Ghana. We can do this. We have Kaiji time. We have a whole lot of all these things. We can take care of ourselves. Why are we not doing it? When Obasanjo was there, he left fleets of airplanes. What happened to those airplanes? We knew the person that bought the airplanes. We knew among them, they sold Nigeria Airways, a whole giant of Africa, giant for nonsense. They don't have an airplane. Travel. Who is doing that? Are we the people doing that? When we want to travel, fly other people's airline.
That's why I say.
What is that? We have refineries in 70s. We don't import oil. Now we import. We depend on that. Who destroy all the? Then among themselves, they bought the oil blocks.
So let me say something. That's why I said.
Poverty. They created poverty among people. If somebody that is hungry, I saw something. I will forward something for you that I saw on Instagram. The poor woman.
Poverty is
ready. I will forward it to you guys live. Don't just say how to send 100,000 to that woman. The woman says she's ready to sleep with anybody for 500 naira just to feed the children because they are locked down in a society like that. Here in America, on CNN, I saw it. The truck drivers, they mounted different places where they can eat because they know restaurant doesn't open. They mounted all those eating joints. People are making the food for them free of charge. They know these are essential workers. They have to do this thing and they have to provide food for them. They're not paying. They're not paying for it. If you take your beautiful car home, in 6 months, you'll be hearing the roads are bad. You can't even speak your generator to kill you. Now they said they want to phase out generator. Are you kidding me? Who are the people ruling us?
The $500,000 that Dangote gave to fight coronavirus in Nigeria, where did the money go?
1 billion.
So let me say something.
Now altogether they have 700 billion.
Let me say something.
700 billion naira.
America, that kind of money. Accountability.
Even the chief host, I was saying it that time. The chief host is asking us, okay, in this period, what can we do to give back to the society? How many of us? He came up to say that we need to do something, right? People are doing it home. If we go out now, we have good roads. Can we do that? Are we the ones that did not do that?
Let me say something.
And these are projects that they are giving out every year. They give out the money every year, and people are dying on these roads. What is going on? Nobody, anybody. They keep quiet about it because they can fly. One day they will drop.
The problem is so much, but I believe that check and balance system is not there. In the US, if they donate 500 billion or 500 million, something is there to check that government guy in handling the money. If he misappropriates the money, he goes. In Nigeria, no check and balance system. Nobody checks the policeman on the road. He does anything he likes. Nobody checks the teacher. He comes. Look, let me give you an example where I work, right?
Because sorry, let me quickly say this. Hold on. Because the police have to report to the person.
No. Hold on. Let me tell you. That's what I said. A system. There's a system has to be put in place. I'll give you an example. Where I work, I'm supposed to report by 5 a.m., sometimes 6:30, depending on when morning meetings begin, right? If you report, you have to log in your time. And when you're going, you have to log out your time. That is a system that checks me. If I come by 9 o'clock and I log in 9 o'clock and I leave by 5 and I log in, they're going to pay me 9 to 5.
Okay, just hold on. I just want to make a point. Just one point. Then you continue. That is a system where at the end of 2 weeks, you're getting paid. These are people that they will work in 6 months, they don't pay them.
Hold on.
1 year, they don't get paid. And you expect the person to be loyal. I go to work because I'm going to get paid. If I get late to my job, I'm losing hours. I'm losing money. So I'll be loyal to my job.
That's why I said.
When you work for 1 year, even the cooperative they contributed, they can't find the money. The money is gone. What happens? Your sweat, your own sweat, insurance that you pay, they can't give back.
The thing is, generally, I mean, with someone that's a lot of problems in Nigeria. You know, I don't think you can say this one tops this one tops that one, but obviously there is tens and tens of problems in Nigeria. And, you know, is it working yet? It depends on where you're looking at, you know. But is it going to change? I believe it will change, guys. It will get better.
Hopefully.
Yeah, it will get better.
Yeah. So before I leave, let me just say one of my last things because I cannot go and attend to, you know, my work. Africa has tremendously improved over the years.
Yes.
We'll get there. Remember that America was at this stage at one time.
Yes.
Now they've transcended the stage. They've gone far, right? We're going to get there.
Yeah.
We're going to get there. It might take a couple of hard work, everybody together, big disagreements, but someday a leader and a follower will arise that will key into the vision of the country. And we'll get there.
I believe so. And we're looking forward. We're looking forward to that.
Let me go and put down my 55G pole in front of my house.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
See you guys next week.
Bye.
Oh my God.
Wow, nice.